Carrie, let's start with you. What's your reaction to Minister Mark Miller's comments, basically calling the Manitoba Premier's decision not to search the landfill heartless?
I think that until the federal government puts up money to fund this search, then I don't think he should be quick to um, cast blame because he's equally responsible. Maybe he should, instead of fanning fuels of discontent, he should be reaching out and asking about ways that they can work together to find an amicable solution that would that the that would benefit the families, that the families would appreciate. Right now there's so much infighting and not enough being done, and we're seeing the frustration happening on the ground.
Yeah, and again, last weekend there was a man who dumped trash on an MMIW mural out at the landfill blockade. On Wednesday night, dozens of people showed up at that person's house, as did the police. What do you make of what happened out there?
It's worth noting that it ended peacefully. There was no violence that broke out other than just a bit of a defacing of property. It's also notable to point out that this individual was allowed to come onto an area in which there was a great deal of Indigenous peoples and perform what was essentially a message of hate by dumping garbage or refuse on the top of a mural that they had created. And there was no police there, but there was absolutely 13 police officers to protect this individual at his home. It's very notable to say where the police resources are being located, and it certainly isn't at the site involving individuals who are trying to protect human remains at the landfill site outside of Winnipeg.
Carrie, Minister Miller said the window to start the search has been missed for this year. How hard of news do you think that will be to take?
No harder than the family has already heard. You know, they've just been hearing constant no, we can't do this, and the solutions that are being proposed are not acceptable. You know, they are standing up and saying no, this is not acceptable, and they need to have that space to speak, because when I see what they're doing, I understand it, because I'm an Indigenous person and I know for generations those before us didn't have this opportunity to speak. We were shut out of anything, and now we have our voice, and our voice can carry, and now they're utilizing their voice and applying pressure, and we see people criticizing them for using their voice. But any other group in the same situation would do the same thing. I don't know why Indigenous people are being vilified in such a way, like they're asking too much. Is it too much that they want their loved ones back? I don't think so.
Nigon, with the injunction and all that's going on, what happens next?
Well, we'll find out today because there will be a decision made on the injunction. If there are mass arrests made at the site involving I don't like to call it a blockade. I mean, it's really protectors. It's people who are setting up a protection line for human remains, which we know that are there. And so if there is mass arrests by the city of Winnipeg and the police, I think that will create more and more conflict. It's already bubbled over in many different ways. This week you saw the premiers arriving in Winnipeg, and nobody wanted to talk about anything to do with the premier's issues. Not anyone in the national media. Everybody wants to talk about what's happening at the landfill. And therefore, this will increase in conflict. It will also increase in acrimony. And I really think this is in many ways a death knell for the provincial Conservatives, who are already losing massive supports within Winnipeg. But we have a fall election coming up, and they may face a tremendous loss in Winnipeg just over this issue alone.
Yeah, interesting times for sure, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, miigwech.
Thanks.